no podcast would be complete without touching upon
Of course, whether you're talking
that.
about artificial intelligence,
Yeah,
augmented intelligence, any
yeah,
intelligence.
yeah,
So,
of
um,
course.
certainly
So would
cannot
love,
go on
yeah, so
any conversations without it today.
yeah, exactly. So looking into the future from your perspective, when you're looking at the EHR adoption and the innovation and the adoption of AI in the business enterprise, what are some of the things that you see coming our way and what are you might be working on? Yeah.
I want to go back and emphasize again on,
Yeah.
and maybe that's my bias now, is
Yeah.
that any successful AI initiative should always start with what problem are you trying to solve and
Yes.
engaging the operator in defining that problem. Again, we fall very easily into, and especially now with such fast pace of tech and
Yeah.
tooling available, that we get very engrossed in the tool and then try to find sponsors and problems to solve. In order for AI to be successful and scalable, you really need to start with the operators in mind. And that operator could be tech. There's also a lot of AI in place today, whether it's generative or RPA or machine learning, that entails coding, entails engagement that we can leverage it for. But to scale it and help the clinical space, the administrative space, the experience space, you have to go to the source. And so whenever I give a talk about AI, I always say AI has been around for decades.
Yeah.
And within the last 5+ years or so, generative AI became front and center. And the world interprets generative AI as AI magic in all generations and all aspects of life. But we should all remember that AI is a lot more than generative AI. And so Northwell, like other healthcare institutions, and being one of the leaders in looking at new technology and innovation, have been engaged in many aspects of AI way back, starting with imaging, precision medicine, with also most currently with generative AI. We've looked at agentic AI is what people all in the cradle. We are also, due to security, compliance, and just protection of our data, which is our most important asset, we have stood up a internal AI hub, we call it, which is a interface for our workforce to be able to go on to a link and be able to use generative AI on any sort of source of product that they would, and data that they have that they would like to leverage it. And in that way, we federate the capability and look at what are some of the problems and the needs that's out there to leverage. At the same time, we very targetedly stood up a governance structure that we are trying to understand the inventory of needs and requests and looking at what are some of the initiatives and work that we can do to bring value back. And in some of those areas, we have worked with administration areas like, I would call it like compliance, or like even in a way where you can use generative AI to search out information and present it to the user, which saves a significant amount of time as these users are digging through voluminous policies and voluminous documents. And it is a way that we can bring time, give time back.
That's amazing. Yeah, giving time back to 90,000 people adds up a lot, Sophie.
Right. And there are tons of use cases that you're not familiar with, that you wouldn't think about. And they might not be sexy, but it is rote. It is something that someone has to do every day, whether they're using time to search, using time to write, using time to gather.